Hi, Internet friends, and welcome to this impromptu series, Can I Build a FlutterFlow App in 7 Days? If you're new here, my name is Sarah Joy, and I'm working on building an app called Impulse Buy, but this is not that app. This app is a birthday present for my husband. His birthday is this month, and he never asks me for anything really. So when he asked me to build him an app for predicting when maintenance is needed for his cars based on their mileage, I couldn't say no. And yeah, I'm challenging myself to see if I can build it and get it to a point where it's ready to be tested and deployed to the App Store in 7 days. So for this video, I'm just going to walk through the UI that I've built. I built it Monday and Tuesday, probably a total of like 5-6 hours or so. And then I'm going to pause because I haven't worked on it at all today, go do that, and then I'll record another session reviewing what I've done today. So, like I mentioned, the app is meant to predict when a car will hit a certain mileage milestone and list out what maintenance is required at that milestone, right? Because your cars need maintenance at specific milestones like 75,000 miles, 100,000 miles, etc. So this is what I have for the UI. The main landing page is this car dashboard. It's a list of your cars. Oops. It's a list of your cars, and since the main point of this is what maintenance is coming up and an estimation of when, data that's shown here is the car's current mileage and the estimated date of upcoming maintenance. And then there's two buttons here to update the mileage and to view the upcoming maintenance. So updating mileage just opens this little guy to update the mileage, and then upcoming maintenance will take you to a list that I will show you in a couple of pages. Before we get to that though, each of these cards leads to a card detail page. So if we click on it, it takes us to this card detail page that has the car's information. This is all dummy information, by the way. That's not the VIN number. I don't know what year his CRX actually is, and I also don't know how many miles it has. But we have a little edit button to edit the car's information. And then down here is a activity log, essentially. And it's a list of past maintenance lists and when it was completed and what mileage is completed at. Every time you update the mileage from that home landing page, it'll log it here. And then this is the upcoming maintenance task list, and you can also create more task lists for future maintenance points at whatever mileage you set them for. So down here, this button is what will create one of these task lists. And right now it says update because this is all hard-coded UI, so nothing is really working. But the idea is that from this car detail page, you can pull up a form to create a new maintenance list for a specific mileage point. So like if you want to add a new list at 50,000 miles, you can add it there. That will eventually say create list, and it will take us to this page. And this is the same page that that button on the main list will take you to, and it is the maintenance list for a specific mileage point. So here it says 45,000 miles. And again, it has that estimated date of when this will happen. And then it's just a task list. And right now these tasks are super simple, just title, status, complete or not, and then a note section. But I could see this getting built out to be a little bit more robust, maybe have like some fields for tracking the cost or fields for tracking whether you did it yourself or took it to get serviced. And then there's a button down here to add tasks. And then you can also edit the task list mileage point, and once it's complete, you can add a completed date to display on the card detail page. So again, from this main list of cars, clicking upcoming maintenance will take you directly to the next maintenance point or list. But you can also click into your car and add and create and edit task lists for future mileage points. These just aren't clickable yet because none of this is real. This was just like an interactive mock-up. The last thing I want to mention is that these tasks, plan is to actually have them come from this master list of tasks. So instead of typing in oil and filter change across all 3 different cars, you can just search it, find it, and select it, and it'll add it to that task list. And this task list, you'll be able to edit tasks as well as add new ones to it. Oh, I think the one other thing to mention is the estimated date is going to be calculated based off of mileage data that you input. So the idea is that you'll update your car's mileage from here, maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month. We can then calculate when it will hit the next maintenance mileage milestone. So yeah, that's the idea. And I think I walked through everything there is to walk through. So I'm going to stop recording here, and I will be back after I've done something today. I think I might start with, I'm going to use SQLite for the database. So we're going to give that a go. And I think I'm going to start with creating a table and going through CRUD, create, read, update, destroy for these tasks. So hopefully, in this next part of the video, I will be walking you through that. All right, so here's the update after working for a bit on this today. I did not get as far as I'd like, but we're off to a good start, I think, for adding the SQLite database. It's kind of a good start. I basically just followed their documentation here for setting up SQLite. And if you notice this little caution call out that says we don't support SQLite on web-based apps, I was like, yeah, cool, that makes sense. What I didn't realize is that it meant that when you hit run in test mode, it doesn't work because you're viewing it in your browser. So today what I got done was I set up a SQLite database and then spent most of my time trying to get a local run situation ready and up and running. And I think my laptop is just not cut out to handle that. But yeah, let me walk through really quick the SQLite database because I thought it was pretty interesting, and also the steps that I tried to get this up and running. So to add a SQLite database, they recommend downloading this program called DB Browser for SQLite. And you can create a database with tables, and then you can also populate its rows with data. So I made just a super basic single table database with tasks, and it's just an ID and text, and I gave it a bunch of options to pull from for that. And then in FlutterFlow, the way you set it up is under the integrations in the settings, and you upload the file that it creates for you, a .db file, and then you set up read queries and update queries. And these are just SQL queries, so getting everything from that table. And then there's creating and inserting a row into that table, updating things at that table, and deleting things. So I was so ready to test this out. This took like not very long at all. But then, like I said, I ran into this issue of when you run it in your browser, it doesn't work. And yeah, I do have a desktop that I think this should work fine on. I don't think my laptop is cut out to run an emulator. What I did was I followed their documentation that I've closed, but it's basically installing Flutter through VS Code and then installing Android Studio and getting things set up there. And then just there's like a setup here in FlutterFlow. There was a long issue with this first setup Flutter step here. It took it like 20 minutes to install and process setting up Flutter. And the whole time I was like going through the forum is like, it's stuck on the processing. But it just eventually figured itself out and continued on. And then in Android Studio, I was able to set up a virtual emulator for an Android device. But then when I hit run, it would run, but I couldn't open it. And when I tried to connect it here through the test, it would just say starting app for forever. And my laptop just sounded like it was really, really struggling. So I think tomorrow, or maybe later tonight, I don't know, probably tomorrow, I'm going to get on my desktop computer and get everything set up there. So yeah, I didn't make as much progress as I would have liked on this database today, but so long as things go smoothly tomorrow, hopefully I can get this really, really far in the next 7 days. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be posting another update tomorrow, and hopefully everything will be working. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess maybe use Supabase. We'll see.